Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, hello, everyone. Oh, just get my lighting. Okay. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Crichlow. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. This is the web series where we like to talk real talk about things that are happening in education, employment, mental health, social services, or anything else that is steamy. So we like to have those conversations that we don't really like to put out there out in the open, and we like to put those things out in the open, right? So all of these conversations, all of our episodes, all of this is tools for educating you, and today is no different. So today's episode is Talking with Tutors Part 2, right? So I am looking forward to doing this topic again because I am going to talk to another person in the tutoring industry. She has been on this show before, so she is actually a returning guest, and I look forward to talking with her again. Her name is Jan Sixt. And I'm going to remind you about who she is. So let me remind you who she is. Who is Jan Sixt? Have you tried to explain an assignment to your child only to find that your explanation wasn't understood? Did you lose your child's attention? Did both of you walk away frustrated? Were your child's needs still not met? Here comes jstutor.com, which is her website. Over 1,200 educational videos for ages preschool through 12th grade for math, reading, language arts, writing, spelling, science, social studies, time management, standardized test taking, English as a second language, organizational, and study skills. Parents learn how to teach basic foundational concepts calmly and smoothly while helping with schoolwork. Homeschoolers follow a well-organized curriculum that presents strategies and links videos that complement each other. Here are a couple of awards that Jan has won from 2001 to today. She was a guest speaker at various seminars, workshops, PTA/PTO meetings, radio, public libraries, and other educational events. From 1969 to now, she's been inducted into the Kappa Delta Pi, which is the International Honor Society in Education. That is a mouthful right there. And the cherry on top is that Jan has been a teacher for over 45 years. Awesome. All right, so I am going to bring her to the stage. Hello, Jan. How are you doing today?
Hi,
Welcome
Gabrielle.
back to Hot Topics.
Just fine today. Looking forward to talking shop with you.
Yeah, welcome back to the hot seat. So we're gonna be talking about the tutoring industry and the pros and cons and all that good stuff. All right, you ready to do this?
I am.
Great. All right, so let's start with a simple question. Tell me what got you started?
Well, I did not choose private tutoring. I actually graduated with a degree in education. My husband at the time was in the service, stationed in Alaska. So my very first job was in Fairbanks, Alaska. I taught fourth and fifth grade there. But the service decided that they'd send him on to another base, and that interrupted my employment too. So we were scheduled for Great Falls, Montana at that time. I got a couple of substitute jobs, longer range ones than each and every day. But it was not very long after that we were transferred again. So I was pretty frustrated with the whole deal. And I threw an ad in the paper and I started to tutor. And it was like, whoa, I really like this. So when we finally settled and he was finished with his enlistment, we settled down and I decided that I did not want to go back to the classroom. I really had found my niche. So I started to tutor in earnest at that time.
So can you give us an idea of what your schedule was like? How many hours a week? Was it full-time, part-time?
Well, it varied with every single move. You sort of had to break in again, get known in the community. So it started out with a few students, and then it grew from there. Over the years, probably I've had an average of maybe 35, 40 children a week. At that, I probably gave that many lessons. I know my top number was 52. I had 52 children a week. That was when I was trying to put my own kids through college. So I basically tutored any warm body that was interested. I just worked.
Oh, so was this supplemental income in addition to something else? Were you doing something else at the same time?
For not really. It was mostly education in that realm. My husband was a CPA, and he started a practice of his own. And I worked in the office for about 15 years. So, but I always tutored. It was just wherever I was needed, I guess I worked.
So tell us about your, I guess where did you tutor? Did you tutor in person, online?
Initially, it started out with in person, and that was a lot of fun. But I also worked for school districts. If a child is out of school for a long period of time, perhaps a surgery, or some of the kids had autoimmune illnesses. There were some emotional problems that kids had. Sometimes a child was actually expelled from school. In each of the different states, and that I've worked in many, each state had to provide home instruction for those children so they could return to the classroom on par with their classmates. So those students were that was usually in person, but some of them were too sick, and I was afraid to be around them, especially the kids that had the autoimmune diseases. So I started to tutor online at that time. That was probably about 20 years ago or so. And that was not the essence of what I did. Most of it was across the table. But when COVID happened and everything shut down, I had been doing online tutoring for so long that I didn't really miss a beat on it. And now most everything I do is online.
So do you see yourself going back to in-person tutoring at some point?
I love the in-person. I love to be across the table from a child. It's really a lot of fun. But it, the just the way that things are right now, some schools they're not really shut down too much at this point, but some children are, they're involved in other activities, and it's more convenient for them to be online than in person. So I'm flexible with what the needs are. We have different ways of meeting our.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on chumbacasino.com. I looked over the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at chumbacasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's chumbacasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Online or in person.
Awesome. And we got our first question. Yay. This is from Shelly Hassi. How much preparation time was required prior to tutoring all your students? Having so many students from different age groups and tutoring so many subjects had to be challenging.
Yes, the preparation time, of course, was more when I first started tutoring. If I picked up a subject that I wasn't really familiar with, then I had to do a lot of research on it and bring myself up to speed. So that took some time as well. Now it's pretty easy. I hardly do any real prep for it. I have certain books and material that I know work. My techniques are very efficient, and now it's not very hard at all. I don't do a whole lot of preparation, but before there was a lot of it.
Great. So I didn't even ask you the basic question. What grades do you tutor? What subjects do you tutor?
Well, that has kind of grown too. The repertoire spans now preschool through college. I have some college students. I've tutored adults as well. The adults are usually working toward their GED, or there's some language barrier in there, like English as a second language. I taught reading to a Laotian man at one point. That's an example, but there were others. Foreign exchange students, when they come, they're in the realm of English as a second language. Most of the children are probably between mid-elementary school, maybe third grade or so, and through middle school and high school. But there are the other kids on either end of those two.
So, sorry, the lowest grade you go down to is what?
Preschool. I've tutored kids as young as 3. I've done curriculum for homeschooling parents. So that brought me down into the preschool part. But it was surprising to me, some of these techniques that I've used. I wondered how young could a child be to grasp even like a reading technique. And I've had 2 children now that have read by the time they were 3. With comprehension. With comprehension, yes.
All right. Well, we have our second question from Tia Stasco. Do you have to give the student a grade? Are you paid by the Board of Education? So it's a 2-part question.
Oh, that's a good question. The students that I tutor privately, there are no grades with that. I'm helping them meet the challenges of their day, or what those children need in order to succeed. However, when I tutored for the school districts, when I was talking about those children that were ill or had surgeries or such, then I was actually tutoring for the Board of Education. Those jobs, I needed to have more, there was more structure to it in the record keeping area. I had to teach from their classroom teacher's curriculum. So whatever chapter they were on, we had to be on that chapter too. I did, however, I administered the tests and the quizzes as the child was ready for them, but I usually didn't grade them because the classroom teacher knew what he or she was looking for answers, especially to like essay questions. So it wouldn't have been right for me to grade any of those. However, I was very cognizant of their timing, when they had to get their report cards out, when they had to get the grades in. So I had to make sure that my schedule with that child was not last minute for the classroom teacher. I hope I answered that question well. If you have a follow-up, please give it to me.
Of course. So you're online now. So let's talk more about online tutoring. So, because I do online tutoring myself, and there's challenges and in terms of, what if a student needs help with something that's in a textbook and you're online? How do you navigate that? How do you, what skills and techniques do you use for online tutoring that maybe you have to get creative with because it's online as opposed to in person?
Yes. When I was teaching with the children that were ill, I had the same textbooks that they did, or the same handouts that they did. In fact, I would make copies for myself, so I was looking at the same paper that they did. But technology has advanced again, and now the kids will take a snapshot of their homework paper and send it to me. They'll text it to me. I can go online and catch what they're looking at. Sometimes it's a website that they'll send to me. If it's a writing assignment, they will use like a Google Docs or some type of Word program, and they can send that to me. Many times I have two computers that I'm using, one that brings up their paperwork, and one where I'm conversing with them like we are right now, where we can see each other. And I can even see them make changes on like an essay from the technology. It's great.
So I imagine you use a lot of like screen sharing, so texting, like they'll text you a picture, which I find is helpful. So screen sharing, the whiteboards, all that good stuff.
Yes, that's true. And then I have my trusty blackboard that probably carbon dates me age-wise, but the flip side is a whiteboard. So yeah, sometimes I'll just turn around and write on the board. You can see I have a whole lot of manipulatives. I use these all the time. So I can use my wall here too to explain certain things. If I have a little heads up on what they're doing, and you sort of get used to what your students are, where they're at. So I bring out my manipulatives as I need to. As you can see, we're doing shapes, and we're doing shapes right now. And on the other side, the slope in algebra.
I see. Yeah, I remember you're the queen of manipulatives. So how does all that work in terms of how does that work online?
Well, I could take a manipulative that I have here and show it to you, like this. Maybe I could do this one. So these are fairly plain. You can see I could do some explaining for that. Here's this one is my spelling organizer that I teach with this, and I show the kids how to make their columns, and they're making those columns for themselves. But my teaching has my focus, I think, has really kind of shifted at this point of my career. I'm interested now in passing on what I know works. It's always going to be a love of mine to work one-on-one with a person. And I really, truly enjoy the kids when they get those aha moments where they understand and then they can do stuff on their own. It's really quite, it's a kick. It's my kick too, as much as the kids. But I know that these essential foundational techniques that I've developed over the years and used with the children. I mean, I only get 45 minutes or an hour with them at a shot. So I have to sort of say what's important quickly. Those techniques have been so powerful at child back to grade level or back to a point where they can maneuver on their own, that these are the techniques that I now want to share with parents. And that's why I did the video series. There are 1,200 videos that I've put into playlists with grammar and spelling, math, note-taking, that type of thing. These are foundational skills that actually complement other disciplines. For example, if you were teaching story problems in math and a child wasn't understanding, you might teach punctuation or sentence structure. So a reading comprehension, that's all a part of the story problem that some kids miss when they're just trying to do the calculations. So I can see where these pivotal skills intertwine with other disciplines, and that's my focus now. I want to share that with parents and children in a video form, because that's the way that I can connect with a person that I don't even really have to have a one-on-one relationship with them. They can learn from the technology.
So you have a video series now, and I see that you have a YouTube channel. So now, how do you balance that with that tutor? And this might be a discussion about how do you balance at all a work life. That's a few different things I'm asking you, but let's start with the video. So how do you balance doing your video series and tutoring your students?
The videos can be watched separately from me. I am actually teaching the content. The videos are between 3 and 5 minutes long, most of them. So it's a quick hit. It's a concept. The child gets to practice that concept. And if it's digestible, go on to the next one. They're put in series where if you watched one movie right after another, it would be like you would have a classroom situation where each concept followed the next in a logical order. So any random viewer could see these videos without having to have a personal relationship with me. The students, however, that want the families that want the private tutoring along with the video series, that's usually what they are doing now. They're asking me to do private tutoring with them, and I'm also working with the videos with the children, getting them familiar with how to use the website, how to find their own videos without, much worry. Believe me, they catch on pretty quickly to it. Then they're seeing how they can use those videos on demand. They don't have to wait to the next lesson. If they've got a homework assignment, let's say their class is with me is on a Monday, but they're having trouble on Thursday. Well, they don't have to wait till the weekend to ask about it. They can actually go to the videos and they can view it. And many times they tell me they're using the titles of their homework papers, their worksheets. They locate that discipline on the videos. Let's say they're working with positive and negative numbers. They're subtracting positive and negative numbers. Okay. They would go to the website.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on chumbacasino.com. I looked over the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at chumbacasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's chumbacasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
In a search bar, and they would just put in positive or negative numbers, and all the videos that have that topic would pop up for them. Or they can go to their grade level and look in the math section. Each of the videos are labeled to show the content of what's in the videos. Like it would say multiplication of positive and negative numbers. Well, they're not on that. They're on addition and subtraction of them. Okay, so they would look to see the videos, find the ones that are talking about that specific discipline of their title, and then they'd watch one or two of those videos to see how the concept is taught, and then follow that. Many of them can just then do their worksheet.
So it's like an instructional series. So you have a specific topic that you focus on, and you talk about how to address it, and then you use that to show to your students.
Yes, and I've done. I put a lot of thought into this as to how the videos should follow each other, and what concepts I wanted to teach. And I'm teaching with these pivotal skills in mind. So, for example, I know you tutor math, so I'm going to stay on the math for a minute. The idea that you would do like adding and subtracting of fractions, okay, and then you have to reduce to lowest terms and everything. That brings in a concept of divisibility. So a key essential skill in that is understanding the divisibility of numbers. So when you look at an even number, 2 is going to go into it. Or if you look at a number that ends in a 0 or a 5, you know that 5 is going to divide into that with no remainder. So I teach divisibility very carefully and show the thinking order, the actual thinking order of what a child should consider first, second, third. And then as they go through the thinking order of the divisibility, they're questioning themselves as to the problem du jour. So the fractions actually end up being easier to do if they're thinking in terms of and applying the essential skill, which is actually divisibility. But That divisibility feature can also be used to simplify polynomials. That's a high school level math concept, but it comes back to the lower grades with divisibility. Here we are again.
Right. So you're discussing a very important concept, which is teaching the fundamentals. I mean, sticking with math. You're teaching the fundamentals of math to your students before you get to the complicated stuff.
It follows. The reason that kids choke on the complicated ideas is that they don't realize that they have to apply the tool that works with those complicated. It's not complicated after a while. It's another step on the on places where you could use that particular concept. Math has a lot of rules to it, but it also has a lot of tools with it too. Your multiplication and division facts permeate fractions, decimals, percentages, polynomials. It's just knowing those is a pivotal skill in my world. But the other subjects have it too, Gabrielle. It's amazing. There are these fundamental, essential skills that are in grammar and English and social studies. I try to give you an example of this. In writing, kids have a hard time with writing. If I teach 3 basic sentence structures, they only need 3 different sentence structures to make fabulous essays. Another concept is the grammar. What does a sentence actually need but a subject and a verb? Well, those are concepts that are building blocks of their ability to form a sentence. And then once they can form these 3 types of sentences, there are other ways you can do this. These are just the fundamentals. Then I can teach the harder ones, or they can use these fundamental ones in various ways to complete a paragraph and then an essay, the 5-paragraph essay that is so common in schools. And I'm working with a college girl right now. This student is doing a research paper where she's annotating the bibliography, blah, blah, blah. It's the same stuff. I'm going right back to these fundamentals, and we're producing a college level paper. But these fundamental skills can take a preschooler and help that child understand a story. I have an example of that. I didn't know that I'd be doing this. This particular book that I've done is students will create their own stories. Now I'm talking about a preschooler now, or an early elementary child, where if they have a picture prompt, perhaps maybe something like this, they could do these fundamental skills that would entail like who's in the picture, what's the where, when, why, and turn it into these very cool stories that, let's see if I can get you one. So here's one. I used that same character and made a story. This is what the child actually said to me. I had to scribe for the child because he was too small to actually write, but he could think this. He had the ability, the language abilities to say it. So I wrote it down for him like he said, and then he took these to his little chair, and he would sit there and he'd read his own story. He said, Fuzzy was going to a party on Saturday afternoon. He said that to me. It's a pretty intricate sentence. I was just the one that scribed it. And he went on. It was his friend's birthday, so Fuzzy was walking with balloons. That's what he got from this story. But the fundamentals were the sentence structure and so forth that he knew because he could speak English. I wrote it down for him, and he went off his merry way, and I caught him reading these. I mean, he would just sit there at the other side of the room and with his little book, and he would say, Fuzzy was going to a party. He half remembered what he said, but the words were making a difference for him. And eventually he read by the time he was 3.
Wow, it sounds like he wasn't writing it, but the fact that you had to scribe for him, so you were writing what he said, and then you showed him what he was saying, so you could see the letters and the spelling. So it sounds like that helped him a lot.
Yes, and then what happens is the kids get so they're so happy about they're feeling confident, and then they want more. So I don't have to struggle with please pay attention and stop throwing things. That was always a classroom kind of discipline. I don't have any of that problem when I tutor one-on-one. The kids are successful and they're looking for more. It's really very exciting for me.
I could tell. All right, we got another question here. I have several nieces and nephews with gifted children. Would your website be useful for them?
Well, the website is arranged. The videos are arranged in playlists that are they're grade level. I know that those videos or those concepts would be taught in those particular grades, but they do overlap. If we go back to the multiplication tables, those are usually introduced in late 2nd grade, 3rd grade, definitely 4th, and some kids still need it in 5th. So those videos overlap the
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to chumbacasino.com.
chumbacasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit chumbacasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
The grade levels. So you could find some of the same movies in different grade levels, but they would be the same videos. That being said, if you have a precocious 1st grader or 2nd grader, that child could use the videos as enrichment, which would be on par for like a 4th grader. But maybe a 6th grader or 7th grader would use those same videos as remedial. So the question, the gifted children, absolutely. Why would you want to hold them back? If they were interested in learning something, I'd say go for it. So yes, the videos could be used that way.
Awesome. All right, so keeping an eye on the time. All right, so let's talk about you for a little bit. So I think you're doing this by yourself, right? You're a sole proprietor, or do you have people that work for you?
Yes, I'm a sole proprietor. The one-on-one has worked for me very well. And with all the moving around that I've done, I can't imagine I would be able to keep an employee. One-on-one is what I do.
So it's easier. It's easier for you if you stick to yourself. Pretty much, it's easier for you to facilitate your business.
Yes.
Okay. All right, and let's ask the $1 million question here. Where do you find your clients? Tell me, tell us your marketing strategy. Where do you find your clients?
Well, I think that the best way to do it is by word of mouth. I've had many people be I call them my living billboards. Once you start working with a child and there's some success, the parents and the child know that you're in the corner with the child. They'll want to talk about this to other parents. So I've had a lot of success with people just passing my name along. But I also would like to if you're just jumping into this for, or considering becoming a tutor, don't neglect the school systems. I was talking before about the schools that have children who there's somebody that's always going to be sick, have an accident, have a surgery, the kids move in from different districts or something, where they're going to be out of school for a longer period of time. And then the school district has to provide home instruction. I really think that's probably nationwide. I could vouch for the 8 to 10 or 12 places that I've lived, where I've taught as I've moved around. And each of those schools had what they called home instruction or home and hospital. They had to hook up a tutor with a child who has a reasonable reason for being absent from the school. So at the elementary level, it's not so hard for them to put a teacher with a student. But when you get into the middle school and the high school levels, the teachers only teach social studies, or I only teach math. I can't teach the language arts part of it. The school district will have to sometimes put in 4 or more people with that one child in order to get all of the core classes that child needs covered by law. So the older kids, the school districts, lost my train of thought there. The school district then has that task of the logistics of getting everybody arranged. In my case, I could teach the variety of subjects to all these different age groups, and it happened over time, but
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
They would say, I have this sophomore who's going to be out for about 6 weeks. Can you handle this? And if I had time in my schedule, I jumped at it. Those that I didn't usually make as much money as I could on my own, but those were also the children that I tutored during the daytime hours when my private students were in school anyway. So I used those hours to augment my funds that way. So if you're going to be tutoring, you might start out with the school district. Of course, you're going to have certification and fingerprints and a background check and all that kind of stuff. But that's just part of working with a school district. That's a good way to break in to a community.
All right, that's great advice. And I'll wrap it up on this last question. So in terms of, while we're talking, getting into the tutoring field, what's, and I do you charge your clients, or do you have contracts with the schools?
Well, the school district has you sort of have to take what they're paying. Okay, they've got a schedule, and I don't know how they come to those figures in the school, but there was not a lot of bargaining there. With my private students, I can set my own rates for it, which of course vary from area to area. There were some places where I lived where I could make a whole lot more money in Washington, D.C. than I could in Great Falls, Montana. So you're going to have to kind of see wherever your region is within the country as to what the going rates are for them. Something to say for experience too. If you're starting out newly as a new tutor in town, you may have to ease into it more gently than if you've had a whole lot of experience. One thing that, as long as we're on finance, there is one thing that I really would like to mention too, and that's your tax requirements. Just the reporting. If you're going to start your own business or you're going to be working like this, you're going to need to keep your records. I pulled a Schedule C from a 1040 Schedule C. That's a sole proprietor. I don't know how your businesses will be, maybe you'll have an LLC, maybe it's an incorporation. I'm not sure exactly what the audience's individual needs might be, but I would believe the categories are that you'd have to keep records of your sales, and then the expenses that you might need to think about. These are part of what an accountant or a tax preparer would be looking for. So it's a whole lot to keep track of these categories along the way than it is to do it once a year when you're on. Advertising, if you do any advertising, that's an expense. Commissions are fees. Insurance, like if you have to have insurance I worked in a private school in the Potomac, Maryland area for a while, and I tutored there, and they needed insurance, professional insurance that I had to get in order to work in their district, and that was deductible. If you have any legal or professional fees, office expenses, if you're getting like a paper cutter or the stapler or something like that, ribbons or ink for your printer. If you're renting, those are expenses. Repairs and maintenance, taxes and licenses, if you have to pay for your professional licenses, those are deductible. If you have travel expenses, and I'm thinking like if you went to a seminar that was professional. Also, one more thing, keep track of your mileage when you're driving to or from a student or to the school or even to the bank to put deposits in or something if you're doing any of those. If you get any professional magazines or subscriptions, those are all categories that an accountant could use in order to balance out the amount of money that you make. Those are legal expenses, and there are probably others, but I'm just bringing it up so you can start thinking about it. In your mileage too, they're going to ask you for the mileage at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. So you just keep that in mind because it's pretty hard to reconstruct that.
And thank you so much for that. And I'm glad you brought up tutoring deductions and expenses. I would love to continue that conversation, but let's schedule another time for that. And I going to conclude right here. So thank you, Jan, so much for your advice, and thank you for those watching. Thank you for your questions. So let me put up your banner here. All right, you guys. So Jan is all over social media. You can follow her on Facebook and Instagram. Her information is scrolling below at the bottom of your screen. And she is also on YouTube. So those videos that she is talking about is on her YouTube channel, and I believe on your website as well.
Mm-hmm. There's a sampling on YouTube.
Okay. And she has a website, of course. You can learn about her services and her tutoring. Oh, wait, is that another comment? Oh, nice job, ladies. Thank you. Thank you, Kia. Okay. But yes, you can go to Jan's website to learn about her tutoring services, her videos, her books. She got it all. You could go to her website, www.jstutor.com. And if you want to email her, if you have any questions, you're looking for some services, I also put her email address at the bottom. And for those of you watching this on my YouTube channel, the information will be provided to you in the description in case you forgot. So it'll be in multiple places right there. All right, Jan, thank you so much for joining me today.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to place you backstage now. All right, and it is just you and me, guys. So I'm going to put up my information right here in case you want to learn more about A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So let me put up my information here. All right, and we have reached the conclusion of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. Wherever you are watching this episode right now, whether it is on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, if you're watching this on the main website, wherever you are watching this right now, please check out our platforms for more videos and clips, and don't forget to follow us, right? Follow, like, subscribe, whatever the button is, don't forget to stay in touch with us. And while you're at it, let us know what you thought about this episode by leaving a comment in the comment section below or in the comment thread if you're watching this on social media. And as a reminder, this web series is a production of A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So if you would like to learn more about our company, our services, our web series, if you just want to learn more about us, you can go to our website at www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. And you can also sign up for our email list and our texting list. I encourage you to do that as well. That information is also scrolling below. And it is also in the description for those of you watching this on our YouTube channel. So I know you may be wondering, okay, you're a tutoring company. Why are you promoting another tutoring company? And my thing is, I don't like to look at this as competition. I like to look at this as supporting my colleagues. So, you have I'm sharing resources. So you have Jan as a resource. You have A Step Ahead as a resource. So all of these are multiple resources for you. So don't look at this as competition. Look at this as support and resource sharing. And with that said, that's it for our episode. Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. So now, I am now signing off.
How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.